Drive 615. Let's go for a drive. This is the all-new 2024 Mercedes-Benz CLE 450 Coupe, and I absolutely love it. I've had it as a press loan for Mercedes from the past week, where I've been daily driving it and getting to know it inside and out. As always in my reviews, we'll take a look at the exterior, the interior, then we'll go out and take it for a drive, and hopefully by the end of this review, you can decide if this is the right vehicle for you. The exterior color on this vehicle is Manufacture Patagonia Red Metallic. It's a $1,750 option, a very unique color, very beautiful, really ties in with the sportiness and sleekness of this vehicle, and it's definitely flashy, sure to catch a lot of people's eyes. Total MSRP is $78,360. Let's go ahead and take a closer look up front. As we take a closer look, you'll notice some body lines on the hood. The outer two anchor in the headlamps, and the two in the center accentuate and emphasize the hood bulge, which really just adds to the sleekness and sportiness of this vehicle. We've got our shark nose style grille, and if you notice, everywhere on the front of that is the Mercedes 3-point star. This is functional, so airflow can flow through directly on this upper portion and some of this lower portion. However, this bottom part here is not functional. As we work our way down further, you'll see that same 3-point star print logo kind of printed all over the vehicle. This part here is not functional. However, on this little side air inlet here, that's functional to flow through and cool the brakes of this vehicle. As we work our way down, you'll notice we've got the first little bit of our AMG night package, which blacks out what is normally chrome. So on this front splitter here, on this side inlet cover there. So I really love the front of this vehicle. I feel like it looks very sporty, especially when it's just coming right up on you. It's a really sporty vehicle under the hood, and the exterior of that definitely matches. I love the crisp and clean DRLs, LED headlamps. I've got automatic high beam, and if you get the digital light package, it'll actually project icons out onto the pavement to help guide you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the profile. I'm a big fan of the shape and silhouette of this vehicle. I think it looks so sleek and so sporty, and I think what really helps tie that in is the night package. That's an $1,150 option. That blacks out all the chrome on the vehicle and really just helps accentuate and tie everything in. The only thing it doesn't black out is the chrome here on the door handles. A lot of people are asking, is this a C-Class? Is this an E-Class? It's neither. It's the CLE, of course, but it's a blend of the two. So it's sitting on the exact same wheelbase as the C-Class. It's 4 inches longer than a C sedan, 4 inches shorter than that of an E-Class. So it's kind of right there in the middle. It's kind of a blend of the two. Probably the perfect vehicle if you're looking for something in between a C and an E. We're sitting on 20-inch AMG multi-spoke wheels, finished off in black, and I think that in combination with the night package really contributes to making this vehicle look so sleek and sporty. I'm sure without it, it would still look great, but to me, this is the perfect way to set one of these up. The wheels are very unique. They've got a little bit of a lip on them, but not from the depth perspective. It's on the face of the wheel, as you can see here. So it's kind of aerodynamic in a sense, but it still looks really sporty with the multi-spoke design. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. I do like the body painted lip here on the rear trunk. I feel like on coupes, you need something back here to kind of come up and level it out. Otherwise, it looks a little bit tapered off. Here on the right, we've got the 4MATIC badge. These do come standard, all-wheel drive, CLE 450 here on the left. Let's go ahead and take a listen to it, then we'll look at the trunk. So it is a turbo inline 6-cylinder, so not the loudest. You did get a little bit of pop there on the exhaust, but it's really not made to be a loud, throaty vehicle. I will touch on the exhaust here. It looks nice, however, it's completely solid through there. The actual exhaust exits out down below, so that's strictly for show. So I'm really not the biggest fan of that. I wish it could have just gone straight out, but you know, it is what it is. As we work down through here, that same plastic that's inside that exhaust continues. I would have liked to have seen that in the same gloss black as the portion above it. However, I bet you the reason they didn't do that is because this would be really hard to keep clean. It's kind of in a high traffic area, and if it was in that gloss finish, it would look really good, but probably would be dirty all the time. I overall think the rear end of this vehicle looks really nice, really fat, just really sporty and aggressive, minus the exhaust that I'm not a big fan of. Now, to open up the trunk, if you don't have the key fob and you're not pressing the button on the inside, there's no button down here that you can push. You have to actually touch this logo here, or kind of the paint, and that pushes forward, and that's how it opens up. Not the biggest fan of that. Personally, I'd rather just be able to press something that's not visible, that wouldn't get fingerprints on it. But that's how it is in this vehicle. And that same thing that you push actually opens up, and that's where the rear camera comes out when you're in reverse. Nice amount of trunk space back here, pretty spacious. You get 11.2 cubic feet of trunk space. How does that stack up against the rest? Where you get 11.6 in the C-Class sedan and 12.7 in the E-Class sedan. So despite it being a coupe, you don't really lose much function or space. If you pull down on this is where you can hang maybe your grocery bags or a purse or something like that. You've got a little bit of netting here on the left if you want to keep things from sliding around. And if you open up this is where you can store some things underneath there. You've got a soft close of the rear boot. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. You'll notice here on the door, we've got a pillarless design, so it really just gives you a lot of flexibility and freedom, especially when the window's down. This is a 4-seater, so if you want to get in the back seat, all you do is simply pull up on the strap on the back of this seat here, this nice leather strap. It will slide forward. You can get in the back seat, and all you do is push that back, and the seat will automatically adjust for you. But the cool thing is, it adjusts to where the seat gives enough room for the people behind you. It does not go back to where it was. So if it was all the way back to begin with, you put someone in there and shut it back, it doesn't smush them, it stops, giving the person in the rear enough legroom. We'll touch on that later, but if you're a tall guy, people behind you might not have that much legroom. But let's take a closer look at some of the interior features. All right, let's take a look around. We've got our Burmester sound system in this vehicle. Sounds incredible, really an immersive audio experience, one of the best audio systems I've listened to in a vehicle. We've got the black leather trim in this spec. I think the lines on it back there and the contrasting stitching and the perforation up here for the ventilated and heated seats kind of gives it a unique look. Typically not a big fan of the straight black interior, but I think the way this is designed looks nice. I am not a big fan here of this center bit of the steering wheel. This is where the airbag and the horn is. I don't know, I'm not used to it yet. Someone described it as like an egg, and I can't not see that now. It's just kind of a big egg ball right there in the center. Again, I'm gonna get used to it at some point, but for now, not the biggest fan. We've got our light silver metallic mixed fabric trim, which looks absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like carbon fiber with that woven design, except it's light silver. I do like the piano black lacquer trim to the console here. However, it's gonna be prone to fingerprints, so you're gonna wanna keep a microfiber towel handy so you can keep this nice and clean. We push this open here. It'll give you access to your 2 cup holders, some storage here on the left side, your wireless phone charging, and 2 USB-C ports. If you push on these, this will give you access to store drinks of different sizes. If you push on this, that'll slide right back into place automatically. So it's kind of spring loaded, and simply pushing there slides it right back. Let's take a look at the center console. Good amount of storage, 2 additional USB-C ports. I really like the integrated look on the air vents on the inside of them. It's got a little bit of diamond knurling texture. So a lot of little unique details just really kind of come in combination to make this vehicle super luxurious and super sleek. Foot on the brake, push to start. We've got our 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster where you can customize things to your liking. It's very crisp and very responsive too. So the second I put my foot on the throttle, it's equally as responsive, maybe if not faster, than one that is analog. I'm really liking the digital instrument cluster these days. We've got an 11.9-inch display screen here. Very crisp, very clean. It's all touch screen, super responsive. You got your native integrated apps in the vehicle. You can talk to the vehicle through the MBUX system. It'll talk back to you. You can ask it things, customize it however you like. This is how you look at the vehicle stats. This is the biometric portion of it for the biometric fingerprint scanning. Dynamic mode here, so you can go between sport, individual, comfort, or eco. Now, let me touch on this real fast. You don't have an actual scroll wheel for the radio. You just slide up or down on this bit of the steering wheel here, or you can control it here by sliding up or down or pressing up or down. I wish it just had a scroll wheel. Sometimes this works perfect, sometimes it doesn't. I go too high or go too low, or my fingers are sweaty. Not used to this yet, just like I'm not used to this either, but I'm sure I'll come around. I've been just pressing up or down here because I like the more analog side of things than that unique digital, slide knob there. One more thing I'm not the biggest fan of is the mesh screen here on the panoramic moonroof. It does shade the vehicle, but you can still see through just a little bit, and I'd rather it be completely blocked off. You slide your finger back there, and that's actually how it opens up. You slide back one more time, and that'll open up the actual moonroof portion. That wind guard will open up, and it opens up to about, as you can see there, probably 60%, and then the shade will close to cover that portion. So gives you a nice little bit of light there, lets your hair down, let it blow in the wind. As far as rear goes, not a ton of room. You do get cup holders back there, but if you're riding around with tall people in the front, you might be a little squished. If you've got, you know, people that are probably 6 feet and under, you should be fine, but maybe not for an extremely long road trip. You might get a little cramped, but nevertheless, these seats do sit a little deep, so you get a bit more leg room out that way. No plugs or anything like that in the rear. You get the 2 cup holders, a little storage compartment here, and a little kind of shallow storage compartment there. You do get the speakers in the rear, but no plugs or anything back here. Pretty minimal in the rear of this coupe. Let's go for a drive. Behind the wheel and on the road, and while we drive, we'll talk about 3 things. 1, comfort, 2, performance, and 3, my overall impressions. And to start off, I feel very comfortable. Again, I'm 6'5" tall. I've got a nice amount, several inches of headroom. Feel great on the leg room as I sit now. However, as you saw, someone really couldn't sit behind me comfortable. But if you want to drive this with 2 people, or maybe 3, if this seat's pushed up a little more, you can definitely do it. But just driving solo, I feel extremely comfortable. It's a very smooth riding vehicle. The suspension on it is fantastic. It's got the 4-matic, so it basically sends power to all the wheels, and it sends different power to different wheels depending on what's necessary in the driving conditions. It handles very well there in corners, and I just blasted out of that corner there, and no wheel slip, no nothing. So you really feel like you can unlock the full power of this vehicle without fear of breaking loose or getting squirrely or anything like that. We're working with underneath the hood, that is a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine that's producing 375 horsepower and 369 pound-foot of torque here in the CLE 450. If you opt for the CLE 300, that'll give you a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which is good for 255 horsepower and 295 pound-foot of torque. This 375 horsepower feels incredibly fast, especially when you put the throttle down. It's just absolutely smooth, and it's not that loud. As you heard earlier, the exhaust isn't terribly loud, so when you're getting on it, even in sport mode, you hear that rumble of the engine, but it's not overbearing, it's not, you know, in your face, and it doesn't take away from the comfort and luxury of the vehicle. In addition to the inline 6, you get a 48-volt mild hybrid system, which gives you an electric motor that can add up to 23 horsepower and 148 pound-foot of torque as well. So with the inline 6, the 375 horsepower, coupled with the electric motor, you can really put the power down and put it down in a smooth and effective way. So let's showcase a little of the performance. I'm gonna click here on the dynamic button. I'm gonna go into sport. I'll drop it here on the paddle shifters. I'm in M3. Oh man, that's awesome. And I can see the power going up on that electric motor there. And now when I'm off the brakes, coasting, I see a little bit of the charge. So that's definitely seems to be where manufacturers are trending these days as far as how to couple the power and get the most out of it. And that mild hybrid system is pretty interesting. I think I'm excited to see how that progresses in vehicles, but this is just really, really fast. And again, I think the wild part, I mentioned this in one of my last reviews, is just with how smooth the vehicle rides, you can get in really high speed territory and not even really realize it. Just, you know, just in daily driving scenarios, especially if you, even in comfort, it still feels almost as equally as fast. So it's been a blast driving for the past week. As far as visibility goes, pretty great. Expansive front windshield. Now it is a coupe, and as always with coupes, you lose a little bit of the rear view space. But I love this frameless rear view mirror, so when you look straight into that, it's about the exact width of what you see back there, minus a little bit. So nevertheless, good view on that. And then the blind spot. Got that B-pillar, but since it's a coupe, you got that extra window behind the B-pillar, so when you look out virtually no blind spot in this vehicle, so I do really appreciate that. Of course, it's got all the different lane keep, alerts, assist, everything you would need to keep you safe. But if you want to do that over the shoulder check, the blind spot is nearly invisible. It's been a fun car, a lot of attention. Several people have mentioned, you know, nice car, they've said something, you can tell people are looking at it when you're driving by in traffic. It's a sporty looking vehicle. The color, the wheels, the body lines, the shape, you know, it's unique. People realize there's something different. Probably not gonna realize that it's a CLE, it's brand new, it's all new. They made us think it's a C Coupe, E Coupe. People wouldn't know the difference. If you're a car person, you'll know that this is the newest, greatest thing out from them, kind of that hybrid blend of the two. Gonna do a little acceleration here off the line in 3, 2, 1. 60. Wow. Now, 0 to 60 is quoted a little over 4 seconds. That felt fast, but it took a long time to get there, if that makes sense. I guess 4 seconds, 0 to 60. But it felt very powerful. It pinned me back. Tires broke loose a little bit, but it just took a while to get up in speed. I'm gonna do a few more little accelerations here. It's definitely got kind of a heavy feel to the acceleration, meaning is not as nimble and just like you point and go like some cars, but it's just got like a confidence inspiring speed to it, some weight behind it. I think because of the 4MATIC all-wheel drive, you get a little more confidence in your power because you can really put it down. And you really stand out. When you're just driving through traffic, you really stand out. And it's just a bright, beautiful, sporty, aggressive looking car, and just so luxurious. That's the big thing I like about Mercedes is that culmination of everything. Good name brand, good luxury, good tech, good safety, good performance. Now, is this, you know, AMG level performance? No. Does it look like an AMG? Yes. Could you tell the difference between this and the CLE 53 AMG? Probably, if you're a true car enthusiast that just really has a pulse for what's fast and what's not. But I consider myself a car enthusiast, and you know, driving this and driving a car that's extra 100 horsepower more, you might not be able to tell the difference from the butt dyno, at least. Now, I can't speak to the CLE 53, I haven't driven one yet, but obviously costs a little more. You're getting more horsepower, you're getting AMG touches and whatnot, quad exhaust. So that's you know, up to you. I insist that you guys go test drive one, see what works best for you. But just cruising here at interstate speed, just a very smooth shifting car, and you can blast through all 9 gears without even feeling a thing. Now, you hear it shift, but you barely feel anything, which can be really nice. Now, sometimes it's kind of fun to blast through gears and feel it. I'll definitely say that with the electric motor, this car is quickest at lower speeds. You know, accelerating here from 60 to 100 or so. It's smooth, it's fast, but it's definitely not like break your neck fast. I really feel like this car does best at those lower speeds, off the line, 15 to 40, cornering, etc. I feel like those are where this car really shines. And it's definitely a sporty car that's still practical. You really could have someone sit behind you if you needed to, so you could have 4 seats. Personally, I probably would go for the sedan. I'm really kind of in that sedan mood right now, where I want a big, long, luxurious vehicle. What's on my list right now, truthfully, is the S-Class. I really want a new S-Class. But if you're someone who's maybe single or doesn't have a family, or you know, just wants something kind of sporty that still has some practicality to it, it's not like it's an AMG GT where you get really no rear seats. At least you get the 2 rear seats in this, and you get the trunk space, and it is kind of spacious. It's not like a total sports car coupe like my Corvette, for example, which isn't super practical. This still has some practicality aspects to it, still gets that sports car nature to it. So this is, again, kind of a good blend of the two of those. But I would encourage you guys to go out and drive them, see what you like. Maybe the CLE 450 is right on the money. It's exactly how much power you need. Maybe you want to upgrade to the CLE 53. Maybe this is too much and you want to do the CLE 300. You know, it really gets down to what you guys are interested in as far as performance goes. And I'm a little bit jaded in my speed because I've driven so many fast cars that to me, sometimes things don't feel that fast, and to other people, it's the fastest car they've ever been in. So again, it's kind of up to you guys, but I'm here just to showcase what it's been like driving it. And I do like the attention that it's getting. And for the money, I feel like it gets the right amount of attention. For $78,000, I'm definitely getting people checking it out. I feel confident when I'm driving it. Some people have given me compliments. I like that. Is it a supercar and everyone coming up taking pictures, you know, wanting to take a ride in it? No. But I've been in cars that are twice as much as this, if not more, that don't get any attention. So I think it's just the way it's styled, the body lines, it's being out on the road. People can tell something about it's unique. Pretty toasty here in Nashville. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this sunshade. I'm not the biggest fan of having to swipe my finger on it, especially if you're kind of sweaty or you just don't get it just right, but I'll shut that, and I wish it was fully covered. You know, the sun is still coming through. It's not showing up on my arms, but when I look up, I can see maybe no UVs are getting through it, but just mentally I feel like they are. If I can still see light and the sun coming through, I feel like something's coming down. So I wish that was just a solid piece of mesh. I'll go and do some accelerations. I'll downshift using the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They are metal, they are solid, they have a fantastic smooth feel to them with a little bit of a curvature on the end to help you get some extra grip. But we're on my favorite road here, and I'll show you just how well this vehicle handles from a performance aspect. Let's do another 0 to 60 launch here. Wow. Oh man. Now when you're doing hard pulls like that, you do feel the shifting a little bit, unlike when you're on the interstate. I'm slowing down here, gonna use the paddle shifters to get some of those shifts. Oh, so fun, so torquey. In the roundabout, I love how light the steering is. With that electronic assistance, you really feel like you don't have to fight the wheel to turn it, especially just, you know, turning into driveways or just you know, around town turning, parking. Just that lightweight feel to it. You still feel connected, but it's almost effortless. You can turn with just the touch of one finger. So I've really been enjoying that, and it doesn't really wear me out by any means. And I have really enjoyed my time with it. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you have any questions on the specifics of this vehicle, you can always look on the Mercedes-Benz USA website and drill down to all the different details and compare any cars that you like. But I had a blast with it, and I'll see you guys in the next review.